You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Quite an apt song, considering the start we just had. Right, guys, can I just ask you, please don't call in. I just asked, don't call in tonight, please, because we've got a really bad Skype situation going on, and Kate's having trouble as well. I've just got a message off her. So when you call in, it's and people start calling in again, it's knocking everything. I can't turn anything off or on. So just for tonight, listen via the link. I'm begging you. Otherwise, we're getting nobody on, because sometimes this happens. So, there, right, great stuff. The one that I wanted on has come on. Fantastic. So, I'm going to try and get Mark on at the same time. Let's do this all here now. And, yeah, fantastic. I appreciate your patience. Just treat this as a call of one of those people that call you up at 9 o'clock at night trying to sell you debt management. If you just bear with me, love, and I'll get straight back to you with an answer. Thank you. And, Mark, give us a shout when you're ready, mate. That's Mark. Are you there, mate?
I think I am.
You are? Okay, people still calling in. And Kate?
Hello, Butcher.
How you doing?
Right, I made it all the way to the table tonight. How about that?
We're off. We're off for kicking this Irish, Kate. Kate?
Well, I figured we're going to have a UK show. I might as well be home, right? You know, come on, it's all right. I'll talk to you in a little.
Guinness in hand. Mark?
Yeah, I've just turned my cans down and just blew my fucking head off there.
Right, so we are 22 minutes in, and again, to everybody just sort of calling in, thank you for just dropping the line, because we're having a few Skype issues, and Blog Talk went down on me an hour ago, which is the only thing in 2005.
Do you pay more for that?
Do you have to
pay more? Lucky I've been asking you for years.
You spoiled me, Joe.
I'm working with you. It's a three-way here today. Come on.
Scribble that one out. Right, okay. So, as we said...
Edit.
I just played Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode, which is 25 years old this month, which to me is one of the best songs ever written and has many levels. And I know some of your listeners, Kate, on your side have actually brought that song up in conversation on your show.
Do you know what's really unfortunate about Depeche Mode and all the players in it? They're all dead. They all think they're a legal name.
They all actually one doesn't, because he tried to kill himself. So I think that, or maybe he came to that realization. You see. So can I ask you, Kate, what were you doing 25 years ago, Kate? Where were you in life?
Fucking cares? I'm here right now. Let's get down to best tax, will you? Enough of this fucking reminiscence shit. Let's get the job done, mate. Hey, listen, I didn't come here. Hey, Paul, I didn't come here to talk about fucking music. This is you, me, and Mark here. It's the first chance I've had to talk to you guys. Let's get to it. Let's get the business done, shall we? I got power minds here, people. I like to dance.
How man? Ask the bloody question. I've been working out what my answer would be while you've been going on.
Mark, what were you doing 25 years ago?
Beginning to get as fucked up as I am now.
So everyone's fucked up at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Right. But we've got two amazing... The reason why, as well, you're both on at the station is because very strong-willed, very strong-minded, and you're coming at this from virtually the same sort of angle, and you want to make change, and you want to sort of help people, which is fundamentally what the station is about. And you're putting yourselves out there, putting your head above, and you're taking a lot of shit in the meantime. And I need to say to the listeners at this point, both Kate and Mark have supported me big time over the station through a lot of shite that I've gone through too. So it's a big support mechanism here for all. Kate, lose the name.
Yeah, well, humanity's bitching and complaining about this and bitching and complaining about that, and humanity's the one doing it to itself, and this is the part that humanity won't accept, won't believe, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Humanity is destroying itself through the deception of the legal name fraud that has you dead in the grave. You can see it on the tombstones. I learned that from Mum and Dad. Look, everything I don't want to be, a name on a gravestone. So I'll honor them. I won't be that by being... You see, here's the fundamental thing that people don't understand. Okay, let's do a third-party interloping contract, shall we? I'm going to get into contract with Paul, okay, Mark? And Paul and I are going to cut this deal together. And then we're going to screw you over it, but not tell you. Are you going to agree? And are you going to agree to that contract if you don't know about it? Looks good on paper, doesn't it? Legal name stuff looks good on paper.
Yeah, I've kind of lived my life realizing that's what that's how it works. And once you realize, you don't put up with this. Yeah, I've got a question to ask though. Can I ask the question?
I was going to ask you one. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go on. No, after you.
Oh, okay. Well, here, it's a really simple question, really. The name that you think was you and you're walking around with, you didn't come up with that. Mom and Dad did, right? Or somebody did. And, you didn't create the body you're walking around in. You weren't there the night that the squirting action went on. No, didn't think so. And you didn't go down to the registration office to register that legal name, intellectual property that Mom and Dad owned, to sign the body over. You just showed up on the first breath when the baby popped out. So what does that contract have to do with you? And this is the bane of humanity right there. They think that contract, everyone on this planet, every child that has parents, of course you have them, is actually interloping on a contract that has nothing to do with them. You have unclean hands. That's the original sin from birth. Would you get into a contract that has got nothing to do with you? No.
No,
these legal types and trust law types and copyright types, they haven't got a clue. They don't even understand their own fucking rules.
The question I wanted to bounce off you is because I didn't have a choice over that one, and that's the very point that you're making. Therefore, I have to accept that, and I accept my parents' naivety in contracting me to that. It's a bit like being contracted to a church if you undertake I nearly said communion.
Mark,
but
in a nutshell.
It's my duty to put that right. But my question to you before was going to be this. I used to get the shit kicked out of me at school for having a surname like Cocking. Right? School was fun, yeah? And
no doubt.
So having fought, as I did, because of that name, it's kind of ironic in my life that I've had to kind of disown that name. And I like the irony. So my answer to you would be, I'll kind of play that rather than define it. That's all I can be. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You see, here's the thing. As soon as people, when they hear what used to be a name they use in the legal sense, anytime they hear that legal name that used to be the name, your name used, well, in your case and, of course, mine, whatever, the boy name never fit, right? But anyway, so I get the cocking thing too. I had a lot of fun with that one. But here, in a nutshell, as soon as that sweetest sound that you love to hear becomes the vilest, most criminal sound, that's when you finally know who you are. It got to the point, and I've talked to many people about this, where they absolutely got to that point of loathing what that legal name represented to them. It's a contract you have no business taking part in. That was between your mom, your dad, and the state. Nothing to do with you.
Which is why I ignore it. And I don't see that it exists because of that.
Well, here's the thing. Let's break the whole spiritual contract. Because in that contract, because you contract with mom and dad by accepting that name, big deal, they built a body. I'm sure you guys have built one or two of those in your day. Yeah, get together, I built a couple of those. They're not mine. I don't claim them. That's called slavery. No, my daughters will do what my daughters will do, and I told them from the get-go. The only gift, if you want to call it that I have been a part of in your physical reality is just being half the DNA to build the body that's yours, that you're walking around in. And good news for the girls, because of me cutting my own strings, I cut theirs at the same time. You see, because I know the fraud of the contract. Their mother knows it or not. It's irrelevant. Now,
but I wouldn't say it was irrelevant if I could come in, because I would say it was naivety. I could never... You see, I actually agree entirely, and I do, with what you're saying, and there's no but. Other than I have to accept what my parents thought and respect that that's what they thought, even though they had no insight because they didn't look and so on. The old story. So I've accepted that quite long ago, and I get the legal twist in this. The reality is a complete twist. I've called it a Mobius strip. There's many other ways of looking at it. But I've had my head done in for many years, pondering, A, how do you deal with it personally? B, and that's the challenge for most people, and then B, if you get beyond that, how the hell do we put it right? Well, your approach is the right one, because every individual must do what you're talking about, even though the irony of my life is quite funny. And the other one is to take out the enemy in any way we could, and I perceived a way to do that.
Listen, today I don't want to get into the devil in the detail stuff. Are you familiar with clausula rebus sextantibus?
I would be if that hadn't gone garbled because of the signal. Could you say it again?
Bad signal, guys.
Okay.
Say that again, Kate.
Okay, are you familiar? Tell you what, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to get a Black's Law magic book. You see, what people don't understand is I, like many others, know a secret of a most profound nature that cannot be discovered until you understand what the legal name fraud is. It is pure, utter creational magic. If you want the keys to creation, I can show you how to do it. It's really easy. So I'm going to use their magic book, their
rule. I think there's 7 of them.
What's that?
Sorry, I said I think there's 7 of them.
7 what?
Keys to creation. And
I'll get
into
that in a minute. There's only one key. You need to unlock the 7 sisters first. That's the 7 you're referring to. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll be right back. Yeah, sure.
Right, guys, so I just want to say, again, as if this is choppy, because it's choppy, and Mark, you're hearing a bit of breaking up as well, yeah?
Yeah, it's chopping quite a bit.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So I'm sorry, I'm looking at this, and my sort of, my stream here is I can't believe how bad it's gone in the last half an hour. It's unbelievable. How are you finding it on your side, Mark? Okay, as in your internet connection's okay?
Everything's fine. I'm hearing you clearly. Kate's kind of digital distortion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, guys, again, for those of you calling in again, can you please not call in and end your call, or I'm going to cut you off, and I don't mean to. It's just that we need as least interference as possible to get this show out and on, which I kind of had a fear this morning in a funny way, because you know that sometimes when you're doing these shows, you're going to get a lot of interference, and with you two guys
that's the magic I talk about. That's because it's put there in place. Okay, when you put that in your reality, that's why I just simply accept all things. Clausula rebus sextantibus. This is why go ahead, find me a Yale professor. I'll own his ass in his own law book. Find me any judge, cop, lawyer on this planet, and I will own their ass in their own books. I've done the work, I've done the research, and it's very crystal clear. See, this is the thing, this claim of ignorance that people have. What they have is enough information to screw themselves. They don't go any further than that. I had one guy texting me since the end of last week. Didn't want to bother going to look, right? I said, well, I've got to, I told him what to do. Go look it up. Well, I have court Monday. I got too much work to do. I said, well, fine. What the hell are you asking me for, you lazy fuck? And then, of course, it gets I ended up blocked anyway. But I don't waste time with idiots. I have no time. There are children dying because of idiots. I don't waste time on them. Clausula rebus sextantibus. A contract is a treaty. True or false?
Are you asking?
Treaty's a contract. True or false?
True.
The answer is true. It's a contract. Any agreement written on paper, treaty, contract, agreement, whatever. Okay, they're all contracts. Anything that is an agreement between one and another is a contract. It is a contrast between you and another, you and me. Contrast, contract. C can sound like an S. That's the phonics trick. That exposes the whole world to you. Clausula rebus sextantibus is a treaty. And this goes back to December 25th, 2012, when I released the Invocation of the Cross. It explains this very clearly. This is it's in legal terms is known as the escape clause. Clausula rebus sextantibus is a treaty provision stating that the treaty is binding only as long as the circumstances in existence when the treaty was signed remain substantially the same. I'd say they're slightly different. Knowing what the treaty is, there's been a fundamental change. It's binding only as long as the circumstances in existence when the treaty was signed remain substantially the same. Mom and Dad didn't know they were committing fraud. I didn't know I was third-party interloping by getting involved in a contract that had nothing to do with me. That's a fundamental change. not substantially the same anymore. 2, a doctrine by which the law supplies such a provision to a treaty that does not expressly contain one. Well, it's there, but we won't show you. We won't tell you what it is. The doctrine may be invoked when a fundamental change in circumstances, legal name fraud, alters the essential basis for the party's consent to be bound by the treaty. Yeah, it's fraud. I have no consent to the birth certificate treaty. That's between mom, dad, and the fucking crown. If you want to take it up with my mom and dad, you're going to need a shovel and a plane ticket. Okay? And 2, radically transforms the extent of the party's performances under the treaty, which I am not a part of, so it has nothing to do with me any longer. But the doctrine does not apply to treaties establishing geographic boundaries. Oh, look at that. They lift it right off the map. You see, there are 2 worlds here. One that is drawn up on books and maps and cities and towns and names and corporations and religions and all the rest of it. That's called the planet of City of London State / Vatican. I don't live on that planet. They have a different, their atlas is a book that holds up their world. I walk on a planet, a rock with water on it and stuff. There's no lines. I don't live in the dead world. The Atlas, Atlas Shrugged. There's your Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand. Okay, Ayn Rand, whatever the hell that name is. So there, the fundamental treaty. There's the escape clause. That's what it's known as. The Clausula Rebus Sextantibus is the escape clause. Invocation of the Cross is on cateofgaia.wordpress.com, and it's a CRSS. Funny that, almost like it works in phonics. Yeah, cross, Clausula Rebus Sextantibus. This game, when you understand it, is so profoundly simple. Day after day after day, I find myself dealing with monkey chatter after monkey chatter of a literal, legal reality that is the Matrix. If you are speaking legal, you're in the Matrix. I only use it to show you the bridge to get out of the Matrix. It's all right there. I've proven it in more ways than any Yale professor or Harvard graduate or professor, doctorate, whatever, could ever look at. I actually studied the law, all of it. Contract, trust, copyright. How many people out there have had a publishing company and were a songwriter that was interested in copyright and protecting all publishing rights? Any of you? I did. I had to learn copyright real quick, especially in music. People love stealing songs. I had a few that some people thought they could.
So if you can copyright the point that you're trying to communicate to everybody who doesn't understand this simple issue, there's a line there that they need to cross in understanding. It seems to me that the only issue here then would be how do you get that point to them all in a way that they can understand. Are you doing that?
Well, yeah, I mean,
and with respect, I've not read your book, and I'm dying to. I'm dying to read the books, but I haven't done that yet, mate. So I'm not talking with any insight here at all. Yeah,
Mark, you take the time, read the essays. They are written on an anagogic level. They're literal. You are going to have your mind blown. True story. I know it blew mine when I was writing them.
Yeah. I look forward to it. I'm kind of buried in reading things at the minute, which it's an indulgence for me to actually be doing this, to have thrown myself back into it and pulling together the threads that I became aware of years ago and over the years, but never actually wrote down, just noted and moved on. And this is the first time in my life where I've sat down and think, well, how do I communicate this to people? So I've got the same problem, because I have a message, which I would, at the level we're talking, I would say is one of the 7 that we uttered before. And I need to get that over to people. So how do I best do that? How do we best do this?
See, this is why it is so very difficult for me to talk to anyone that hasn't read the essays, because what the essays will do for you, my love, is they will confirm and affirm everything that you did is right. That's what the essays do. They confirm. My work confirms your work.
I'm sure it will. It by definition, it kind of has to when you meet it.
It does. It comes down to the one linchpin that keeps the whole system alive, and that is the fact that people consent in contracts, spiritual and physical. As soon as you think that you are a legal name, you are in contract with it.
Kate, And guys, but both of you actually on this. It's the spiritual side that I have trouble with and all this. I know, and it just pretend that I'm this daft ass Mancunian who hasn't got a clue for this show, but knowing where you come from. But with this, I listen to it on the legal side, and you both talk about the spiritual and where it goes back to. But I can't physically add the two together with that. I don't see how it brings me down.
Okay, well let's join the pieces together, because that's exactly what I do every night, 7 nights a week. It's a very simple thing that people need to see before they can pass beyond it. The legal name is the gate to hell. That is the only thing. Well, hey, does the legal straw man? Have you ever heard free men on the land talk about it's a dead straw man fiction? Yeah, then why are you claiming to be it? Stupid. That's kind of stupid. It's dead. But you know what happens is the greed. There's your 7 deadly sins coming in: the greed, the lust, the fear, the pride, all of it, slothful. All of the 7 deadly sins come into play there. That's why people can't reach beyond it. Because what's happened to humanity is they've been indoctrinated through the schools. Remember the idiots you went to school with? Yeah, they're teaching your fucking kids. And you expect a different world? You know, seriously, come on, guys. And it's as simple as this. The only reason people have an obligation to the legal name or any name is because Mommy and Daddy gave it to me, and I want. Yeah, I know. I get it. But they also sold you, if you agree to be that. They sold the body they created. They registered the body that's there. You see what's happening, Paul, is people are only thinking in a physical survival, as trained to be in fear physical survival reality. That's the legal matrix. Okay? Once you step beyond that, this is the realm of miracles. I think you've seen a few miracles, Paul, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Just a few.
Yeah, well, yeah, just a few. So I'm not talking out of my ass here. This is true. You want to see the Magic Kingdom? I will show you how. It's really, really easy. The hard part is letting go of the bullshit. You got to wipe your canvas clean, legal name and all. Get rid of it. The whole idea of one name separates you from all others, where a name is 2 things. It is a dead legal fiction separation from the rest of humanity, title, or whatever you want to call it. And etymologically, it is also a path. It's a way. And there is a name, a path contained in every name that leads to the left, evil, and to the right, benevolence. Okay? And I can always tell which path people are walking, just by their actions. And then I look at the name and go, yep, that's the one they're on. And
what did you think when you saw cock in my name then?
Well, hey, I tell you, Mauro Ka, Ko...
I'll tell you what, my kind of answer to Paul's question would be, and it's a difficult one, and it really is, because, I mean, who the hell am I to say anyway? But it comes down to this. The reality you live in, Paul, in no way resembles the actual reality. However, others have long known that reality and have long used it against you. And the key to that is your psychology and the reality they create around you. They can enforce that on you physically, but that's done psychologically in the first instance. Everything is twisted, it is controlled, and it is feeding something at the top, and that something is the very thing that Kate is talking about, that we contract to or have been contracted to in the way that he explains quite clearly. Well, so it's at that point we meet, but it's like asking a physicist, as I played on my show the other night, can you describe the Big Bang? And the truth is, there's not a single word that they can use to actually describe it. So you can't get the same reality.
I can, and I can tell you why I can, and they can't, because they're stuck in
I'm going to write this one down. Oh, yeah.
Read the essays. This will help you see it. The singularity is... Okay, the singularity is what I call a double cross. Okay, you've been double crossed. XX,
Yeah.
that's the divine feminine chromosome, and of course XY is the male, which is one of the legs taken out, so you haven't got a leg to stand on. That's why you ask why all the time with your hands in the air. XY, life Y, okay? So it's a spiritual construct. The singularity is simply where everything goes to a 0 point, where something is exactly the opposite of what you think it is at the same time. And here's an example of a quad. That's what I call the double cross has 4 points. It crosses twice. One line goes over one, the other one goes over under the other, right? There's two crossings there, not one. In a single X, there are 2 crossings. One crosses one crosses the other, so it's a double cross. Here's how it works. I'll use the eyes and ears to show you the singularity and give you examples of it so you can see for yourself. You're going to see the singularity. Maybe. It just depends how good you are. It's really easy. Okay, normal duality, physical effect reality. You're living in a physical, which is effect, spiritual is cause. And when we keep doing things in a physical way, we are working in the effect of the effect, thinking we're cause over it. No, the cause is the thought that makes you do the physical things that keeps you caught in the physical matrix. So here it is. People only use their eyes to see and their ears to hear. You need to learn to hear with your eyes and see with your ears. I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is, now you see both sides of it, right? How the hell can you hear with your eyes? Well, it's simple. Just ask someone who is deaf. If I stick up a couple of fingers, yeah, right. If I stick up a couple of fingers in a certain way, what language are you understanding? That's called the mind. That's the silent language. By one's actions, one has spoken. So someone can say, "I'm not a legal name," and then someone turns and says, "Well, sign here," and they reach to sign for it. It's going to say, "Yes, you are. You thought you had to sign something." Okay, so that's how you hear the communication with your eyes. To see with your ears goes something like this. I'm going to say a word, and I want you to hear it. This is the yan. I just described to you the yin, the light. I'm going to describe the yan now. I want you to close your eyes and say rabbit in your head. Don't say it in your mouth. Say it in your head. Did you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course you did. Yeah, that's called seeing with your ears. But you don't spend a whole lot of time doing that, do you? That's all I do, okay? So what you've done now, seeing with your ears is seeing the concept that the sound creates. It goes through the smithy, wayland of the ear, hammer and anvil, and it creates a new drummer. You walk to a different drum beat. Okay, this is so and people will never see this until they know what they're not. If you think you are a legal name, you will never see this. True story. Because if you think you're a legal name, you are thinking you are only that one thing, excluding all other things in creation. The legal name separates you from all of creation. Period, physical and spiritual. It's the death trap. It's the gate to hell. So get rid of it, slam the door, and walk away.
I have to say, I know quite a lot of people who would, by your definition, say that they hear with their eyes and see with their ears, etc.
Yep.
In whatever combination. So, in fact, I've got a guy coming in tomorrow. I'm going to interview him. He's Asperger's. He only sort of officially realized that in the last 2 years. However, it influenced his life massively. And he's hopefully going to talk about actually the damn same thing that you're talking about now, because of the insights that whatever Asperger's is has opened him up to. So it's an interesting correlation.
Effectively what this is, and having walked the full gauntlet from cannabis to Ebola, with DMT and ayahuasca in between, this knowledge is a DMT trip full time. You live in the magic of time. And I don't know if that's motivating for anybody. It doesn't require you to, rotate 3 times, stand on your head, and fart wooden nickels out of your ass while you're in the back of your head to open your third eye. Your third eye is that moment that I told you. Rabbit, that's your third eye. It's your conceptual eye. It's been open all along. You just weren't using it. I just show you how to use it. It's, there's no magic trick to this. It's not tapping the back of your head and, working through these 7. You want to talk about the biggest trap on the planet are these new cagers talking about, the chakras and this. No, they're the 7 sins, you morons. The 7 trumpets, the 7 sisters, 7 deadly sins, 7 days of the week. Oh, my God. I can go on and on and on and on. It's an allegory. It's not a little.
I get you there. Yeah. I'll back that one up.
They're all the same story.
Kate, yeah. Mark, sorry, I just want to sort of interrupt here because what I want to do at this point, because I'm getting you guys, to me, are the future and the way people should be looking at things. Just had an email off I Baptize I, so I'll work on that one, who said, are you shitting me, Mark and Kate together? So, Mark, I want to bring you in at this point because just to introduce as well one of your lines of research, which is the prime number cross. If you just tell some of the new listeners as well that are listening to both sides, because I think that needs to be mentioned on this show, and if you can, and this is, I'm really sorry to say this, but if you can sort of abbreviate that and how it fits in with things, please.
Oh my God! Something I've struggled to do for years. You'd think it would be easy, but it's not. But it goes something along the lines of, if you were to take the best physicists in the world and ask them to explain reality as they see it through their observations, they would come up with some string of numbers formula. And if you understand that formula, it would probably give a close approximation of. The prime number cross is something which models reality in every way, and because of that, unifies all of the natural sciences. That's a huge thing to say. Couldn't possibly be proven except by individual effort to go and look. But the beauty is, and here is can I finish it? Just one thing. The simplicity is that man has always asked the question: did we invent mathematics, or is it there to see? And it's kind of the answer to that, insofar as the number systems that we have used and ended up using contain the actual underlying process and structure that forms everything. And that is provable at every level by scientific investigation. So you have here the interaction of that which is spiritual or four-dimensional or however you want to see it, and the real creative world. It is the recipe or the matrix you would apply in a computer if you wanted to create three-dimensional reality. And I'd go so far as to say it's actually been proven that that's the case as well, but this is just me talking as a researcher who likes to look at this kind of stuff.
Do you know why I don't look at scientist stuff? Because they're doing it all backwards. They're trying to prove the existence of a chicken using an effect and going backwards.
Oh, I agree entirely. That's why I looked, so I could understand what they think they know, so I could actually look for myself.
Do you want me to prove it in phonics? Well, no, I can prove it in phonics.
Well, if the listeners can understand, go on.
It's very easy. Scientist, okay? Psi is spirit. Psi is spirit, entist mind, scientist. So spirit mindist, and
right.
that title they claim is always in the physical the opposite of what they're doing. Scientist.
But I'm not talking about scientists, my friend. I'm not talking about scientists. I'm talking about the science, and I mean that in a definitive way. If there is,
Mark, tell me how scientist and science are separate.
Allow me to clarify. It's different because a scientist is something that we all know what a scientist is. What I'm talking about is if tomorrow you could write down, if you could tomorrow write down the details of our reality, you could then say that the methods by which you were able to write those down was a science. That's what I'm talking about, not the application or misunderstanding of most scientists, so many of whom I've met, and I dig entirely what you're saying about science and scientists.
Well, scientists follow the Greek dogma of "I think, therefore I am" philosophy. That's the mirror opposite.
This is a bit like yours. This is provable to any 14-year-old in a classroom. That's why it creates a hurdle of understanding for people, because it's there for anyone to see. Yeah.
And that's the problem with it. That's how the kids get trained, because it's the literal effect that these people live in. A scientist is the exact opposite of a spiritualist. You want proof of that? Look at the Dalai Lama promoting 2045.com, transhumanism. What part of spirituality did you miss, asshole?
Hey, I met the Dalai Lama years ago. I was lucky enough to spend a weekend with the Dalai Lama, and I had to ask him before I left him, because he comes over as such a great guy, and he really does, and all the people around him. This was a weekend with a Buddhist. But I asked him, why do these people worship you? And why are your countrymen so poor whilst you live in relative luxury? How do you justify that to yourself? Do you know what I saw in his eyes? You do know what I saw in his eyes in that moment, don't you?
Yeah, yes. It's called moon worship. That's that. If you want to find the lowest low of the darkest principality on the planet, just look at Tibet. The Dalai Lama, the Dalai Lame Eye. Okay, the Dalai Lame Eye. Pronounce it right. So, it's all right there.
I can't pronounce anything if it isn't
English. Well, they based their calendar on moon cycles. They worship the moon. It's all moon worship. This is the Vedic aspect. This is the absolute mirror of the Western. The truth came from the West, not from the East. It got corrupted.
Yeah, I think they worship the moon because they put it there. And this is really what I'm harping on about on the shows.
Whether it's there or not, it's a dead orb. It's just a representation. Serene. It's dead. It can only reflect light. That is the aspect of the harlot Jezebel and Lucifer. The sun, Lucifer, Lu. Greek, Celtic folklore, Lu. There's no. That's the false light.
This one always used to get me. Sorry, mate. Yeah, this one always used to get me when I used to meet a lot of Wiccans and Druids, and I remember one night. It was actually a beautiful night, a stunning ceremony that I watched, and these ladies and men were conducting this ceremony, a Druid ceremony and a Wiccan ceremony, and it was called Drawing Down the Moon, and they were all rather, they were moon worshipping effectively. It was all rather beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I asked myself, why are they worshipping the moon? Because the essence of that very ceremony they're doing means you must draw down the energy from the moon and convert it from the negative thing that it is into a positive influence in the world. But they actually saw the moon as the mother goddess. You see what I mean? And it's quite a profound thing. But sorry for jumping in with that. There might be a lot of Wiccans listening.
But Kate, don't you look at the sun now as more of an issue rather than the moon at this point? Hello? I knew this was going to happen. Kate? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's gone. Right, what I'll do then, I think I might just jump in with a song at this point.
Can I put the kettle on?
I'll probably put the kettle on and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Yep. Okay, guys, back in 5.
You're listening to Critical Mass Radio. Now, it's our turn.
Okay, guys, we're back with the Critical Mass Show with myself, Paul Giovanni, Kate of Gaia, and Mark Cocking. Kate, are you there? Mark, are you there? Speak to me.
I am.
Right, you're there, Mark. Kate.
Well, my tea's not ready.
I'm so sorry. Well, Kate should be back now. The mic's just unmuted.
Yeah.
I'm
wonderful. Here. Right, so first half, I've lost about 2 stone in weight. It's all going good. So many points from you guys over the years that you've been putting forward, and it's been, if you put you two together and the research and the amount of work that you've done to get these messages across, can you both see now? I can. I must admit, can you see the light at the end of the tunnel for you both?
Well, I can see light. I stopped wasting time on all that monkey chatter nonsense ages ago. This is why I tell people read my essays, because until you do, you don't have a clue about who you're talking to and what I have actually uncovered and the amount of work. I have only done this solid for the last 6 years, 24/7. There is such a compilation of information. I don't get into the details. That was my work to do, to prove this legal name fraud. And anytime I steer off that point, I'm going to tell you why. It's a very simple thing. Because until you get this, you will never know yourself what you even think you're a dead legal name. It's a demonstrable fact. Okay, and I know that, and not just me. There are others that took the time to go through the essays to see the anagogic truths of the hidden things that you didn't see. I bet you didn't see your carbon 666 mark of the beast DNA thumbprint on the last thing you touched, but it's there. All things in this reality are dead. Have you ever been to a funeral home?
Yep.
Yeah, well, the only thing keeping the baby alive until you get in it is mom with the umbilical cord, and then as soon as you take over, you provide the life source that gets fed from through the legal name contract. Somehow you think you're party to because it's your mom and dad. Fuck you, mom. Fuck you, dad. Wrong, bad contract, nothing to do with it. And it's nothing against mom and dad. They know what they were doing. But I'm certainly, just because they were ignorant doesn't mean to say I'm going to go along with stupidity. You know, mom and dad, any mom and dad will tell you they want a better life for their child. I said, okay. No contract. I don't have any physical contracts here. Everything in the physical world is dead. I love these new cagers that talk about eating live food. What, you go out in the middle of a field and take a bite of a fucking cow or something, or eat the branch off a tree? As soon as it's detached from its life source, it's dead. Be it a fruit, a vegetable, or a cow. I just prefer not entirely living consciousness. I'm not a Death Eater in that regard. If it has eyes that can see me, it's got consciousness. Everything is consciousness. Everything in this reality, the body that you're walking around in, the tabletop, all of it is dead. The only life here is you. And when you can contract to be a dead thing, that life is fed from. You know, have a look around the planet. Lots of slaves, lots of child molesting and murdering. And here's the thing. Here's the question. Guilty by association, by omission or commission of a crime. If you know there's a crime being committed and you do nothing, you're as guilty as the one committing it. You know, as far as if you want to go into the Thompson clan, that was the most heinous crime of all. We hung you on the fucking spot for not stepping in. The crook, they get a trial. You coward, not a chance. If you can't step in for your neighbor, that's potential criminal in the making. We got rid of those quick. Okay, this is where you stand for each other. The simple truth is you are party to a contract, third party interloping, unclean hands. How many of these doctrines, how many, like legalese? I speak better legalese than any lawyer you've ever met. I know I've owned so many of them. A judge bow. I might know something.
Mark?
You know?
Yeah. You know, we struggle with exactly the same philosophies, exactly the same problems.
This is not a philosophy. This is the truth.
No, well, yeah, but no. Listen, you know, you can pull apart words and whatever. I'm not, you know.
You're making a claim, Mark. You're talking to me. Don't make claims with me. Okay, that is a claim.
Let's not pull apart the words. Well, it's a claim, but let's not get too lost in legalese.
I'll pull apart the whole fucking universe for you.
Well,
if
no,
you
that's
want.
fine, but what I'm saying is, what you're saying is in your books, and I'm really looking forward to getting them and reading it all. But so that aside, because I haven't yet, so understand that bit. What is in there? You're saying people need to understand, and if they don't, then they're complicit in what's going on. Would you like as many readers of that information as, say, the Bible or the Quran have? Because even if you attain that tomorrow, we've then got the issue of the people who don't agree and so on. So I
don't care, Mark. That's the problem. You think I give
I know.
Shit. Hang on, Mark.
I don't think anything, my friend. I'm talking about myself here, not you.
Whatever.
I'm talking about myself.
And go ahead. I don't get into debates. I'll tell you what. When you're ready,
debate. I'm explaining why I've not written a book or anything, because I was in finance, and whereas your thing is
Mark,
the language,
Mark,
and legalese, mine was the finance. If you see what I mean.
I get it, Mark.
Yeah.
Paul, I can't do this. I really can't, because Mark doesn't know where I'm coming from, and I cannot do this.
That would be a shame, mate. Come on.
No, it is a shame,
Why?
Mark. By now, I kind of look into the backgrounds of people that I'm going to be talking to, and I actually look at the work. It's not an issue of just I have a little time, I'll show up kind of thing with me. This is what I do. This is all I do. This is not something I do as a fucking aside. Okay? So here it is in a nutshell. Mark, I'm going to finish off because I'm leaving. Okay? Let me finish. Paul, could you mute him, please? Thanks. Because I'm gone. Okay? Don't try to tell me how to fix a Ford F-150 when you haven't read the fucking manual and I wrote it. Okay?
I'll read the marketing manual. Oh, sorry about that, my friend.
Right. Well, I was expecting that.
Actually, I was.
Okay. Right. Well, there we go. When you get...
Some people like to take tips.
Well, when we get too opinionated, too strong-minded, coming from levels at this point. Right, okay, what we'll do, my friends, I'm going to bang on a song, and I tell you what, I'll kind of call it that with the guest, Mark, and yourself, Kate, and I will come back because there's some things that I've got to say, and thank you both for your time, if that's okay.
Night.
Cheers. Right, guys, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. And yeah, right, where are we going with this? Yeah, this is for Grov, because Grov from the Homelies has asked me to, well, I tell you what, we'll play this. The Homelies
I don't see any reason for embarrassment, Paul.
I'm not embarrassed.
Please don't be. I'm not quite sure what happened there either. But that's not for me to explain, and it's, as I'm sure Kate would agree, not my issue. So I apologize if I said anything. Let me know if I did, yeah?
Okay, I will. So I'm going to play this song from the Homelies, because, like I said, it's stuff I want to get on. Thanks for that, guys. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Not working now. Right, the mic's back on. Thank you. The mic's back on. Right, we're back with the Critical Mass Show. Myself, Paul Giovanni. Whole show tonight, up and down. Right. So, yeah, this time last week, I was out at the Frog and Bucket in Manchester, about to go on stage to do kind of a stand-up routine with all things, shall we say, the truth movement, etc. The idea is you go up for 5 minutes, 3 people in the audience, and they all hold a green card up. No, there's 3 people with a green card, and if they all get held up, then you're off. So I lasted 2 minutes, basically, talking about the things that we discuss at the station to a, should we say, to about 200-300 people who were mostly 90% students, which was fun. Actually, I won't say you enjoyed it so much, but it was kind of an eye-opener to see how many people, if I stood there talking about willies and bums, like the other comedians did, I would have lasted the whole 5 minutes. But talking about the things that we discussed, I didn't really get very far. So I've sent off should we say, the script to a comedian, and she's had a look at it, and she said, no way should I have got up on stage at a gong show, and I need to go to different comedy clubs with that kind of material. So I've been encouraged with that fact, and so we're looking at that. So that's the kind of way I want to look at things as well, because I'm kind of hiding a bit behind the mic at the minute, and have been. I want to branch out, which is the way forward for myself, as well as doing these shows. But as it happens, the station is in a bit of a pickle at the minute. what with funding, etc. So we're going to play it by ear over the next couple of weeks and see how far we go, because it's getting to that stage, and we had some major help last year, major help, which has sort of set us up and give us another year, that's for sure. But it's kind of all sort of run out now, and so thank you to the people who did help. And this is where we're up to, really. It's a shame, but we're getting to that point where I don't really know if I can sort of continue with it in this vein. And we have had some major help, and recently as well. So we're going to carry on for the next few weeks and see where we get up to, and if anything comes along between now and then, I'll kind of tell you. So with the way the show's gone, I'm going to kind of end it there, guys, because there was so much that was based on talking to both Mark and Kate, and it's gone a bit not the way I wanted it to. But we'll come back tomorrow. We've got Kate on from 6 to 8, and on Mark we've got Pirates of Food Show from 8 to 10 on the Thursday. So we're all on it and good, and I will see you all, because I'm getting loads of emails here and loads of messages that I need to deal with, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.